Universal leaning into classic movie nostalgia more than ever, could a Jaws attraction really make a return to Universal Studios? Hello everybody, welcome. Rumors continue to swirl about a possible Jaws attraction replacing a specific area at Universal Studios. For years, one question has continued to circulate through the theme park industry. Could classic movie attractions like Jaws, Back to the Future, and Ghostbusters ever make a return to Universal Studios in Florida? For Jaws, the idea really just seems impossible at first. At first glance, when you look at it, it just seems like it's not gonna happen. No way, shape, or form. The Amity Island area was completely demolished, the shark-infested waters disappeared, and the entire area was reimagined as the Wizarding World of Harry Potter Diagon Alley after one of the most popular and successful franchises in history. The doors to the Jaws attraction officially closed January 2nd of 2012, only about 14 years ago, replaced with the amazingly immersive land Diagon Alley and getting rid of a beloved attraction, one of the last few remaining opening day attractions from Universal Studios. That left only the E.T. extraterrestrial ride that was the only remaining opening day attraction in Universal Studios and is still the only remaining attraction in Universal Studios to this day. Back to the Future closed in 2007. Kongfrontation closed 2002, along with the Fantastic World of Hanna-Barbera. Ghostbusters Spooktacular disappeared in 1996. Alfred Hitchcock, Murder, She Wrote, The Boneyard, MCA Recording Studio, the Studio Tour, and the Nickelodeon Studios all gone. So at this point, Universal Studios is almost been completely transformed from top to bottom, unrecognizable from what Universal Studios was the day it opened. So the question is, why Jaws? If we're shuttering all these other ones, we've gotten rid of all these other things, are gone forever, why on earth would we bring Jaws back? First of all, we still have E.T. That ride is still rocking. I've talked about this before. There is some updates coming to E.T. My expectation based on the permits out there, E.T. is getting brand new ride system, a brand new vehicle system that is gonna transform probably alongside some major improvements to the attraction itself. That is coming, but E.T. right now is not going anywhere. We also know that Back to the Future or Ghostbusters potentially is going to be replacing the old Fast and Furious Supercharged, so they are bringing one of those classic movie attractions most likely back in that space. Kong already had its revival with the Kong Skull Island attraction over in Islands of Adventure, and then of course we have the Mega Movie Parade, we have the Sensational, all these different IPs that are classic movies. A lot of them have already now had their day and are coming back to Universal Studios or Islands of Adventure, except Jaws. Here's the thing, the original Jaws attraction was so much more than just an attraction. It really was the identity of Universal Studios. When you think about what Universal Studios stood for when it first opened, Ride the Movies, it was transformational. It was the epitome of what Universal Studios was. It was really the only fully immersive land, in my opinion, wrapped around an attraction on opening day. You had all of Amity Island. The park was really built around letting guests not just watch a movie, but step into the film itself. For the Jaws attraction, guests, they weren't just, watching the sharks and watching the shark attacks on the screen. They were living them. They were able to experience them. You became a part of the story when you stepped onto the Jaws attraction. You were a passenger on this Amity Island tour boat. There was a captain of the boat. It was a show, and you suddenly became entrenched in this battle against this massive shark. This attraction with the skipper who essentially steered the ship, the storytelling, the theming of the land, it really created something that I think a lot of modern day experiences struggle with, and that is, to me, personality. That sort of cleverness, that fun, that immersion that you got, it just had personality, and every experience was almost a little bit different because of the live elements of it. But despite all of that, Universal was absolutely right to replace the attraction. 100%, bar none. Nobody can argue that point. They were right to get rid of Jaws and replace it with Diagon Alley. By the early 2010s, Universal they were embarking on a new era of theme parks. Universal Studios was aging. It was feeling the pressure for sure from theme parks around the world, and the Jaws area just occupied a massive piece of real estate. And though Amity Island was themed, and it was themed very well, I mean, it was a great experience overall, it just, theming-wise, immersion-wise, it really did not stand up to the newer stuff that Universal was doing. Themed areas like over at Islands of Adventure, the Harry Potter, Wizarding World of Harry Potter, Hogsmeade area, I mean, that theming just blows away the Amity Island theming. Not that it was bad, but that is just another level. So when they were looking for a big piece of real estate to replace, Amity Island definitely had to go, and now we've got Diagon Alley, and again, you just look at the immersion and the theming of Diagon Alley, and it is just next level. So if they were willing to replace it, then why really, why bring it back? The biggest reason is pretty simple. Universal, I believe, is now discovering the value of their own history. Jaws and the shark, which we lovingly refer to as Bruce, the name of the animatronic, the creature that was created for the first Jaws film, that shark is still worldwide, instantly recognizable. That film is one of the most influential films in the history of movie making. And the story is simple. Everybody understands the story. It's not complicated. A shark, a boat, and a dangerous encounter. That simplicity of the story is super powerful. Everybody gets it. It doesn't require a lot of knowledge on the topic. It's a simple concept. And the Jaws attraction and what it represents fits, in my opinion, Universal today more so than even Universal of the past. If you look at Universal's newer attractions, they focus extremely heavily on immersion. You enter a world, you become part of the story, and the environment around you tells the rest of the narrative. That's exactly what Jaws did and would do with a new attraction in the future. Everything around the Jaws Amity Island, if you think about it, was meant to create this build-up and anticipation. When you entered in Amity Island, you saw the fishing village, the boats, the waterfront around it, all the warning signs of sharks. The environment itself built up all this anticipation before you even stepped foot into the ride or the attraction itself. That type of storytelling of old is now considered to be, in my opinion, the gold standard with regards to theme park immersion today. And Jaws was doing it decades before it became the industry trend. Universal is figuring out that nostalgia is not the enemy of innovation or progress. Yes, we want new experiences. Yes, we want new attractions, but we also crave an emotional connection with that attraction. A spectacularly fun attraction with no emotional connection is just not as powerful. Yes, it's fun. I mean, there are plenty of fantastic roller coasters out there at all these other parks, all these other locations around the world. Plenty of great, thrilling coasters and attractions, but they lack that emotional connection, which makes it so much more powerful, draws you back to want to continue to be there, continue to be part of that story and experience it over and over and over again. That's why you look at things like Back to the Future and E.T. and Jaws continuing to remain relevant in the minds of people today, long after they've been gone. People will constantly tell you who go to these theme parks, man, I really miss the Jaws attraction. Man, I really like I'd love to see that Back to the Future in a new modern version of it. I want to see Ghostbusters come back to the park. There's a reason for that, because they developed an emotional connection to those properties. The other biggest reason why I think Jaws could make a return to Universal is the relationship with Steven Spielberg. Steven Spielberg has had a hand in Universal Studios and their developments, their theme parks in Universal Orlando for decades. A huge influential person and partner for them. Back in 1987, he created an exclusive deal. I mean, man, did he get the deal of a lifetime to get 2% of the park revenue. 2%, which is estimated to be like $30 to $50 million a year that he is getting from Universal through that deal. In that deal, there was a put option to basically buy Steven Spielberg out. Steven Spielberg himself has now continuously just delayed and said, I'm willing to just keep delaying that. It was like 2016, now it just keeps going on and on and on, because he's like, I don't really want out of this. I like being in this contract. I'm getting lots of money and I'm seeing my properties, the things that I've worked on and spent my life on, I'm seeing them come to life and people enjoy them all over again. If you think about all the things that Steven Spielberg has had a hand in, look at the partner, you can see the partnership with Universal. Back to the Future, Steven Spielberg was a producer on that. Transformers, he was an executive producer. Twister, back in the day, he was an executive producer of Twister and the new movie Twisters. And then he was the director of E.T., which we have an attraction for. He was a director on Jurassic Park and Jaws. Do we see a pattern here? All those attractions that I just listed off, Steven Spielberg relationship there. We have a lot of those attractions existing in the parks today in some form, some way, shape, or another, except Jaws. And they keep bringing Jaws back. We've done the Amity Island, the 50th anniversary, the merchandise, all the stuff they're doing there. It's in the Mega Movie Parade. It's in the Sensational. Jaws continues to be relevant. They keep bringing it back time and time again, and people keep buying the merchandise. So to me, the question isn't if Jaws is coming back. The question is more about when will it come back and what will it be? I think a full recreation of the Amity Island experience probably is unlikely. I don't know that we're going to get that sort of world, but we might get more of a dark ride creation. Think about a dark ride experience where you step into this building or this structure and it's a recreation potentially of like Amity Island inside, maybe at nighttime, and there's some sort of dark ride or water attraction in there that is Jaws, but it is immersive, it's new, better technology, modern animatronics and effects, maybe even some sort of Halloween Horror Nights tie-in or some sort of seasonal Halloween Horror Nights overlay that they could do there. I mean, just think about that. That would go crazy. I don't think the goal for them is to rebuild that old original attraction. I don't think that they want to go there. I think it's about creating what's that next Jaws experience that can live today, but also extend decades in the future and still be a phenomenal attraction like a Spider-Man. So if this happens, where would it go? In Universal Studios, where would they put this thing? The most likely option here, and what I've been hearing internally from Universal, is that they might be eyeing the Simpsons area, specifically for this Jaws attraction. I've been talking about this in a couple other videos about this transformation of the Simpsons area into something more like a classic movies revival area, or bringing in different attractions in that space. So instead of it being a completely immersive themed land around one particular IP, it could be a collection of classic IPs that they could bring into that one space. There's plenty of room there in the area where it exists today, and even the back areas behind it that they are not really using for a lot of things. They could easily expand into those areas and make a larger land where this Jaws attraction could live. It could go somewhere else as well. Maybe it makes its way to Islands of Adventure. It could show up somewhere else in the park. I don't know, but for me, what I'm hearing and what's the potential most likely place, probably somewhere in that Simpsons space. So just like in the movies, the shark may be gone, but the shark is most definitely not forgotten. It's out there lurking somewhere under the water and waiting for the right moment to strike. I think a Jaws attraction coming back to Universal is a high likelihood. I think it might really happen. I think it makes a lot of sense. I'm hoping that these internal rumors and buzz that I'm hearing about a possible Jaws attraction, I really hope this happens. I hope it comes true, because I'd love to see what Universal of today could do with a Jaws attraction of yesterday. I just think it would be mind-blowing. So that's all I've got. What do you think? Jaws, yay or nay? Do you think you should bring it back? Are you hearing the same rumors I'm hearing? Any other information? I'd love to hear from you down in the comments. Be sure, of course, to like, subscribe, and share this content. Really appreciate it. It helps out my channel a ton. Thanks again for watching. Till I see you next time. The Noble Way is the easy way. Bye-bye, everybody.